Have you ever looked at a car wash before that offered an interior clean, and you think of the idea that it might cost you like $50 to do a quick wipe down on the vacuum for the interior, and then when you initially speak with a company that says auto detailing, they quote you 4 to 5 times the amount, and you get a heart attack. So why is car detailing so expensive, and what's the difference, I guess, between that and a quick wipe down and vacuum? And so in today's video, we're going to talk about why detailing is more expensive and what the difference is between a quick vacuum and a wipe down that some car washes offer and an auto detailing professional service. So let's get started. So, vacuuming. This is a shop vac. Some of you might have it at home, some might not. The biggest difference, I would say, the biggest difference between an auto detail on the interior and the actual quick car wash is the vacuum time. Typical car washes take about 5 to 10 minutes maximum to vacuum your interior. Compared to an auto detail, it could be, I'm not even kidding about it could be up to 2 hours to vacuum your vehicle. And you're probably thinking, I'll take, what the hell? What does it take two friggin' hours to vacuum my car? It's just a vacuum, right? Well, I wish that was the case. In reality, automotive carpet fibers are typically made of kind of a lower quality. Because of the amount of dirt and debris in the carpet vehicles, what a vacuum does is get rid of most of that rocks, the loose dirt on the vehicle carpets, probably about that 70 to 80% mark. So anything that's loose, if you're looking for just a clean, car wash can do a good job. What a detail is, you're going to find is that the remaining 20% that's embedded heavily in the carpet fibers, the smaller rocks, the dirt, the carpets, that takes a lot of time to actually remove. And you have to find actually that's where the vacuuming time actually comes into play. You'll have to use a hand brush, a compressed air, and a couple different tools to actually loosen up all those areas. And of course, don't forget, that area between the seat rail and the center console where, between the seat and the center console where like there's a French fry or that dirt and debris. Obviously, a car wash is not going to take care of that. A detail shop is also going to actually, get rid of all the crack, the crevices underneath the seats, that hard to reach areas that a car wash cannot get. A detail shop is going to do that for you. And so air tools like this, an air tool like this, a brush like this, a brush like this. This is all we use. We have different, many countless tools that we use to actually loosen up that dirt and debris in those fibers. Second, wipe down. You're probably thinking, okay, fair enough. Vacuum, all right, it's understandable why times it takes so long with the vacuum. What about wiping down, right? I mean, it just needs a light dusting and wipe down. Is that all right? Well, you'd be surprised. Some areas take us a lot longer than expected. And what I mean by that is the stitches of your leather seats, the dust in the air vents, the dirt and the rocks in between the seams on your center console, obviously the cup holder, right? The door panels, the window switches, and most importantly, your steering wheel. This is something that I see very surprisingly here. We're going to show you the difference between what a car wash does on a steering wheel and what we do, and you will be shocked. So let's get started. So here we have the steering wheel. We have our microfiber towel with our cleaner on it. And so what a car wash does is they just lightly wipe it down like this. And you can see that's an okay job. You see barely anything that's picked up. But what a detail shop is, you're going to be surprised by the amount of gunk that comes off your steering wheel. It is the most touched surface of your entire vehicle. Come check this out. Yeah, big difference, right? So some of the areas are not typically covered by car wash too. So they'll lightly wipe down the cup holders, maybe service level wipe down. But what a detail does is, you see that dust in here inside of the gear shift. Do you see that dirt and debris between the stitches and the seams of your plastic center area? The dirt between that button here. You see inside of that shaft of the brake. Of course, the cup holders will be very thoroughly clean. You see that dust as well. On that air vent, driver, just on the infotainment section here, the crevices of your plastic, the air vents. If you have leather seats, the seams of your leather seats will be scrubbed the same way we would scrub this, steering wheel. We do it in a similar way on your leather seats. The dust between, you see this dust between the seams of your steering wheel. This area tends to be dirty as well. It's not supposed to be shiny. The dust in that area between the steering wheel column and the shaft, the dust and dirt on those areas here, the speaker grill, the door panel, inside of the window switch here, all of that, and of course inside of this area here, right? It's not just a surface level quick wipe down. It's literally of all the crack and crevices being wiped down. Third, shampooing. So this is a Bissell, carpet shampoo. You may actually have something similar at home. A lot of actually professional detail shops use something similar towards this. When it comes to car washes, though, the $50 that you charge, obviously, you don't actually include some shampooing in there. With detailing, it does include that shampooing as well. So keep that in mind. Car washes typically charge about $75 to $100, and they have a different level of shampooing than what a detail shop does. And what I mean by that is this: you know, not all shampoos are different. People think shampoo is kind of that one word that's people do the same thing, but shampoo can mean really a lot of things. It could be something as basic as we just steam clean the seats and the cloth seats and wipe it down, which is like probably the most entry level way of shampooing, quote unquote. You have a level 2 shampoo, which is actually you would actually kind of clean the outermost area, and that is really good for like 90% of seats, which unfortunately nobody does that, and I'll tell you why you want to look into this actually. And the third one is actually the level 3 shampoo, and this is actually unfortunately, and I am saying unfortunately, what a lot of car washes and entry level detailers do. And let me explain what I mean by that. So unfortunately, a lot of the cheaper detailers and the car washes, what they do is when it comes to shampoo, they just bring their chemical, their whatever, the interior cleaner, water, whatever, and they completely soak your seats. They put like liters and liters and liters of water and chemical into your seats. And why that could be a very big problem, and we never want to deal with this, because there's four massive reasons. First and foremost, there's so many different types of electronics in your seats. It could be airbags, sensors, heated seats, different electronics and attachments. And that if it gets wet, it could be a big problem. It could cost you a lot of money. Second, whenever the car is done, and I'm not going to mention this company, but there's a company here that they completely soak your seats. And when they're done, it's saying they just give you like a plastic seat cover. You have to strap it around here for about a week or so for it to completely dry. In the meantime, your seat car kind of smells a little bit musty, anyways. And if you're in winter time, good luck with that. It's going to take you forever to dry it. Third, musty odor and wet dog smell. The problem with that is because there's so much water, and if the seats don't get dried properly, what happens is you get that mildew smell kind of building up in the car, and that actually could be a really big problem, because if the seats are not properly dried and they use too much water, then you have the problem of mold building up inside of your seats. And if that happens, may God be with you, because you have to replace the entire seat. And so that could all be very problematic. And so what we do, and what a lot of good quality detailing shops do, is that they only use as much water as they need. And what I mean by that is, you would be surprised whenever you see a seat stain on your vehicle. 9 times out of 10, those are relatively surface level stains. And what I mean by that is it's on the outermost, like maybe 5 to 10% of the surface of your seats, and so only that area needs to be clean. You don't need to get the foam inside of the seats wet, right? Because if that happens, like I mentioned, there's gonna be a problem with mold, etc., etc., etc. And so, I mean, obviously, God forbid, if you have really, really, really bad seats, or like you spilled a liter of chocolate milk in your seats, or you had somebody vomit a lot, or like, a couple bad things, then yes, you might have to pull out this one. But even then, we're only going to spot clean with this area. And then the rest of the vehicle, we're going to actually do the method we mentioned earlier, because we don't want you to have, very soggy seats. We want you to drive the car as early as possible, especially in the winter. We want you to have a pleasant experience. We want the car to look and smell brand new. If that makes sense. Number 6, customer service. You know, if you take a car to the car wash and pay $50, don't expect more than $50 worth of customer service. Like, and what I mean by that is this: like, you have a different level of customer service when you pay 200, 250 for a detail. And so, like, you know, as a business owner, if you run a business, I'm sure you understand this, it's very difficult to have good profit margins when charging $50. And the only way for you to be profitable is to be quick and efficient. And so what that means is that if there's, let's say you go to the car wash, get the interior clean. Okay. And let's say, God forbid, and you know, this might probably happen because you pay $50 and you're not expecting perfection. But let's say their expectations were not set with the car wash, and you're not happy with the expectations and the money you paid, right? When you approach them and ask them, hey, there's this area that's not dirty, I'm not very happy. Can you do something for me? The chances of them saying, I apologize, that's my fault, and let me take that for you, is quite a bit lower than if you come to a detail shop. It's because they have very tight profit margins, and so they're not able to allocate proper customer service and smile, right? They're not able to pay their employees well, right? If you have a minimum wage employee at a car wash, having a customer that, let's say, something that they didn't click something right, and you approach them and they're possibly miserable, they're not going to give you a happy smile, warm face. It's difficult, and like, you'll be surprised, these issues will come out a lot more at car washes because there's always going to be cars that are going to be not perfect, if that makes sense, right? For $50, you're not going to expect a brand new vehicle, and the expectation is going to be difficult to set. Okay, because a vacuum for one person could be a sloppy vacuum for another, or it could be the best vacuum of all time, if that makes sense. The word quick vacuum, quick wipe down could mean quite different things to different people. Whilst if you go to a detail shop and, let's say, God forbid, you end up paying $225, and the vehicle basically looks almost brand new. And let's say, God forbid, there was one small area that's missed. You approach the customer, the employee, and it's like, and say, hey, you might have missed an area. It's like, oh my gosh, we're so terribly sorry. We've got you covered. Don't worry about it. We'd like some coffee in the meantime. I really appreciate your customer feedback. Well, we love you so much. So things like that will be more common in those, more luxury type scenarios. And so if you're somebody who appreciates somebody treating you right, somebody who treats you with respect and actually cares about you as a client, then possibly taking to look at the detail shop. And I do want to let you know, when it comes to detailing, it's not something you do every week or like every month, right? A lot of our clientele get their vehicles done once every year, maybe a year or 2 years or so. If you got the money, sure, you're going to be 6 months. Right? It's not a maintenance clean. We might offer something like that down the line, but it's not a maintenance clean. Seventh, washing your car. So, you know, car washes are very well known for the tunnel wash, where they use the brushes that wash your paint, or the touchless wash. And so, and for I'll be upfront with you, for 90% of people who have regular cars, that's sufficient enough. But if you're one of those people who want a more proper clean, like, I went to the car wash the other day with my own vehicle just to see how it's like, and there was quite a bit of water drip marks on the side of your mirrors, the panels. Some areas were not kind of cleaned well, and especially if you go to the touchless one, because obviously if you go to a touchless, that means you care about your paint, right? You have a nicer car. Those will not clean very well, and they actually tend to use very aggressive chemicals. And so what we do, and what professional detailing shops do, is that they use a very safe contact wash process. They make sure the brushes are clean. They do a proper hand wash, hand dry, blow dry the rims. It's going to be safer, and it's actually, the quality is going to be quite a bit better, obviously, but also it's not much more expensive. Like, for example, we're looking to launch our service this Monday, the 8th, for example, on December 2025, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. We're launching our $20 hand wash for all vehicles. $20 hand wash, better quality job, doesn't damage your paint. You got the customer service of a detail shop. It's an unbelievable deal, right? You're not gonna get the swirl marks either. You're gonna get those scratches. You know, Especially if you have black paint. If you have a black paint and you have a car that's nicer, Mercedes, BMW, Mustang, etc., 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 why are you taking it to a car wash, man? Why? So that, along with the countless other differences that a detail shop does compared to a car wash, is why some of the reasons why they charge quite a bit more, right? Because it's not a light wipe down, right? A wipe down, maybe a car wash, you get it done once every month or so. Sure, that's how often I would take it if I were paying $50, right? It's a surface level. It's good if your car is maintained, right? But you can't expect, if you haven't cleaned your car in a year and take it to a $50 car wash, don't expect perfection, guys. All right. And I'm also saying, if you want to get your car clean once every month or so, don't get a detail. 99% of people don't need to get a detail once every month or so. Once every year is more than adequate, and then frequent once every month or so upkeep maintenance will be fantastic. With that being said, if you have any other questions about detailing, what the differences is, feel free to leave in the comment section down below. And then one last thing here, for the next month or so, we are offering a free basic hand wash for every person that comes to the interior detailing in our shop here in Guelph, Ontario. Our shop is 9 Smith Avenue. Our phone number is 226-771-4483, 226-771-4483. It's deliverydetailing.com. Currently by appointments only. So if you come at kind of show up randomly on a random day, can't promise I'll be there. I'll give you a hug. But yeah, there'll be the links in the description here. Give us a call if you have a dirty car and you're looking for possible imperfection. Getting your vehicle looking and smell brand new. With that being said, be sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.